Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome to the Full View. Happy Monday, 8th of April. We're coming out to talk about really the last few games, which we didn't win any. we didn't win any, but I suppose the Liverpool one has left us feeling like with mixed emotions. I saw Eric said he had mixed emotions. I said it yesterday. A lot of people have been like it. Some good bits and bad bits across all. Well, actually, the Brentford there was no good bits, but Chelsea and Liverpool there was some good bits at points. More so Chelsea, but loads to get into. And the question is what next with Ten Hag? And not like a should he be sat? Not that actually. Just the team, what we're seeing, what we think is round the corner. You know, the players. You know, Willy Camboila came in yesterday. Immense, brilliant. Do we look at that and say there's another young one to add into this crop of what we're trying to do? Are we overgassing that? There's just so much to get into. So big up to Kenny, big up to Good Vibes John, big up to KG, big up to Marcel, big up to Owen, who I know has been doing an absolute marathon.
I'm not gonna lie, yeah, very tired. Yeah, I'm tired.
We ain't gonna hear from you much today, are we?
I've got a cup of decaf coffee because I don't want to get a step too late again. But I've got to get something.
Yeah,
that makes sense. That makes sense because Owen, when he reaches out to me, he usually always is like chipper. He goes, "Hey, good vibes, John. How are you feeling, my friend?" Today, I heard him go, "Good vibes, John. How are you feeling, my
friend?" I sent a voice note to John today. It was proper low energy. Owen. It was full views at 6. I was doing it with my eyes closed. I was good full views at 6.
Oh my god. Oh shit. Yeah. So maybe we shouldn't expect too much from Owen today. We got to take it easy. But big up to everybody watching. Smash a like on the video straight off the bat. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. It's the Full View, so you know we can do the extended version if needed to. People can drop in and out as they need. Definitely an hour, but if we need to go longer, we do that. That is why we start the show earlier now. So big up to everybody involved. Marcel, defend your boy, says Killer Slime straight away. Hello, UV crew and fam. Let's open up the floor. Marcel, yesterday, how did you see it? And you know, where are you standing on everything, bro?
Wow, I mean, firstly, hello everyone. I hope you're well. I think the first 20 minutes was good. The first 20 minutes of football was good. We kind of tried to establish some sort of control into the game, and then after that, until the 66th minute, Flex and everyone, we just kind of we wasn't really in there. We just kind of was really poor. I think something had to come from Bruno to kind of bring us back to life a little bit, and then something absolutely special, with 20 minutes to play from Kobbie Mainoo. Kind of interesting because I feel like our counter-attacks are still really good. The way that we kind of, attack the spaces is really still good. It's our strong point. But the way that we defend and the style of our midfield, the player profiles within that midfield means the game's open. It's a bit of a basketball match, but I'm happy. I'm still happy. And when you go back to what you were saying at the beginning in terms of where we're at as a club and Ten Hag specifically, I think, with the circumstances that have happened throughout the season, I feel like he's made good managing process. He's been able to manage some of the situations reasonably well. And I'm okay. A draw. You stop Liverpool from their pursuit of the Premier League to a degree, and I'm okay. We played okay football. Kobbie's just a wonderful footballer. Really is something special about this kid, and he could hopefully, we should really try and build a team around him. Maybe or put him in the 10. Bruno and Casemiro was heavily wasteful against Liverpool, which really is something that's a negative there. I think Casemiro, big issue with him long term anyway. Finding a replacement for him is going to be very key. In the centre back positions, so many combinations of defensive line. This season we're going to need to do something in defense as well in terms of going into the market. Basically, Ten Hag just needs a bit more support or incomings and outgoings to kind of freshen up this squad. We're kind of looking towards next season now, guys. I mean, I said it when we have good performances, I'm not going to be too high in terms of emotions, and when we have bad performances, I'm not going to be too low this season because I can clearly see the mitigating circumstances, and I think I had that mindset. 10 combinations into the 30 combinations that we've seen of defensive line this season. So, I kind of understood that predicament and situation in that viewpoint, I guess. So, onwards and upwards, I think we still can be in pursuit of that top 4, top 5 position for me. I think that's still got to be the target. Yeah, like 100%, right? 100%, bro. It has to be our mind frame, and I think we can still achieve that top 5 position. It's just going to be a massive task. I mean, Ten Hag's still trying to play front foot football. I really thought, for me, like you said, we haven't won any of these games of late. But I thought for me, it was going to be from a standpoint of against the better teams, we're going to be playing counter attack, and it's going to be long periods of suffering where he's still trying to go gun ho against these teams. That's why you're seeing the basketball matches, which is credit to him, I guess, with the squad that he has available to him. But yeah, I'm still just trying to be calm as can be, like Kobe, and just try and get us through to the end of the season now, and let's see what we can do in the transfer market with INEOS.
As it stands in the table, before we open up the floor, Tottenham and Villa both on 60 points. So that makes us 11 points behind them both.
With how many points left, Fleck?
So how many games have we got? We've got 8 games left. I mean, it's a big ask. Villa, Villa, if you're looking at top 5, it's still a push. I mean, we've got a game in hand over Villa. So if we could win that, we could potentially be 8 points behind Villa whenever that game in hand is. But
7 games left as well, isn't it? Not 8.
Well, we've got a game. We've only played 31.
Yeah, 38.
Oh yeah, so yeah. Sorry, 7. Yeah. Sorry, 7 games. Yeah. So we got 7 games left.
So there's 10 points to play with there. 3 games in it, 3 football matches. It's still can be done.
Bear in mind as well. Bear in mind we're currently 1 win in our last 6 Premier League games.
Exactly.
So,
you can't justify that.
With the current form, we're going to get another win, one more win before the end of the season. The way things are going, isn't it?
Who's our next game, Owen? Is what my question would be to you. Who's our next game?
Bournemouth away.
Bournemouth away.
And that's that's how you've got to approach it, and it's Bournemouth away. And you've got to be able to deliver performance there, which is something that we're more than capable of doing. And if you take it game by game, anything can happen. Anything's very possible. So I'm still going to be aiming for that 4th and 5th position in my mind.
Interesting, Kelly. I mean, you
down.
sort of.
You are, well, oh no, I'm not having him again. I can't believe Marcel. How can you Marcel? But how can you justify saying we will be lucky to get 6th on current form? On current form, we'll be lucky to get 6th. Look at the last 6 games. Look at the last 3 games. We are playing teams below us in the league. We're playing out of form teams. It's the worst Chelsea team we've seen in a decade. But yesterday we got out of jail again with 2 moments, and that's all we had all game was 2 moments. 2 wonderful, fabulous goals. One will probably get goal of the season, or certainly go towards the counter as goal of the season. But what you said, we played well in the first half. We countered. They had 16 shots to our 0 in the first half. 16 shots to 0. So I think I love your optimism. But the realism is if we come out of this season with 6th place, that's all we deserve. That's all we deserve. And if West Ham go on a run or Newcastle and we don't improve our current form, then we won't even get 6th, never mind, let alone 5th. 5th, you can forget 5th and 4th. You've not a chance. We don't even deserve it. If you look at the form, and Villa and Tottenham, they're as inconsistent as us, but they've just had that little bit of better runs than us. But they're just as inconsistent, and the games are running out very thick and very, very fast. So I just think if we get 6th at the end of this season, then that's about best that we deserve. It's about best what we deserve. We can't ask for anything else. You can't have the last year when Eric Ten Hag took over Manchester United, he inherited the worst Premier League team, position and points wise, ever. This season, he could beat that. We could have worse points and worse position than when he took us over. Now that's bad. So don't tell me there's any progression there and there's any process there, because that is a full step back. And I'm not screaming for Eric Ten Hag. I'm not. But the reason I'm not doing it is because I don't see anything better on the horizon. I don't. I'm really concerned when the bookmakers have got Southgate at 3-1 and Potter at 4-1 and Nagelsmann at 8-1 and 10-1. The lad from Sporting Lisbon at 10-1. The bookies are never really wrong. And it looks as though that if we lose Ten Hag, Do you know what I mean? We're going to end up with Southgate or Potter. Frightening. That is really frightening. And some people, you know, if we look at it, we're going to be talking about young Kobe Mainoo, fabulous. And, you know, he's going to be working with Southgate, and Rashford working with Southgate. Well, this could be a positive. This could be a positive for INEOS. That these young players, our best young players, are little prodigies of Southgate's as well. So that, to me, is like an alarm bell ringing. That, you know, we love Kobe Mainoo. Do you know what I mean? And we have loved Rashford in the past. And Southgate sticks his hat on him. Well, if they intend to keep him, if INEOS intend to keep Rashford or whatever, then who's your man for him? Your man for him is Southgate. It does concern me. It really does. And we cannot justify it. But it's true. Them bookies are really wrong. And if you look at check the betting. Gareth Southgate 3-1, Potter 4-1. And everybody else, Miguel's 2
Are the odds short on Gareth Southgate? Are they short on Gareth Southgate mainly because of media speculation? That probably plays a part in it as well, isn't it? Right, the media speculation. Because
bookies don't go off media speculation.
Part of it they do because the odds shorten down because people start putting lots of money on it, don't they? That's when the odds go down. So and people would put more money on Gareth Southgate because the media have linked Southgate to Dave Brailsford and Jim Ratcliffe. What I will say with that is I do think that he's being used as a bit of a boogeyman to Man United fans. You know what I mean? He's being used as a bit of scaremongering of don't you dare criticize Eric Ten Hag. Because the alternative is Gareth Southgate, and you don't want Gareth Southgate, so don't criticize Ten Hag. And I'm not in that camp. I mean, obviously, I've gone on minute upon minute rants about Gareth Southgate here on the channel. I don't want.
Have you?
Yeah, I know exactly, Flex. You know, don't get me start getting Cagey to ask you the question again because that went very well last time. Didn't it? You know what I mean? With Gareth Southgate, I just in my heart of hearts, I cannot believe that INEOS would do that. In the sense of, with the people they're being linked, or the people that they are going for, they are talking up the best in class. They're talking up the best in class. Omar Barada, supreme reputation and record at City. Dan Ashworth, supreme reputation and record at all of the clubs he's been to. Jason Wilcox, again, very strong reputation from his job as an academy director at Manchester City, and also the work he's done at Southampton when they're talking about changing the culture. I cannot think. If they're looking towards alternatives to Eric Ten Hag, they stress the decision has not been made, but if they're looking at alternatives, they would determine Gareth Southgate as best in class. And on top of that, they want to talk about the fans that they care about, the reaction from the fans and liaising with the fans. They would have seen the overwhelming negative reaction that Gareth Southgate, even a link happened over the international break. Listen. I can't think that they would do that. And what I don't like is that if you criticize Eric Ten Hag for going, the gaps are open in midfield, they go, don't criticize him because the alternative Southgate. And if you criticize Ten Hag, you want Southgate, which that's not the case. That is just not the case.
I agree. But there's two factors to look at. If Gareth Southgate wins the European Championships this summer, which could very well do with that squad, because it's a very good squad. It's a good squad. It's got lots of finals and semi-finals.
He's got to put his smart me knowing, see? Southgate can do it.
Best in class. It becomes best in class. It does, sadly, it does, right? The other one,
we won't.
Right? About
how do you know that? You can't just...
fans' opinion.
Because I know Gareth Southgate and I know England. We ain't winning the Euros.
We were euphoric when we got Eric Ten Hag as a fan base. We were absolutely euphoric. We have got the next Klopp. We've got the next Pep. Look what he's done at Ajax. Look at this. He's worked with Pep at Bayern Munich. And we were absolutely, we fell for it, hook, line and sinker, right? And we loved it. And we loved it because there was all of a sudden, we all felt on that crest of a wave. We've all felt on the crest of an Eric Ten Hag wave, and we did. And last season, he built us up and he's built us up. And sadly, for 1,000,001 reasons, not saying it's his fault, not by a long way, we have dropped. And all of a sudden, now the fan base, I think opinion as well, is roundabout where we was towards Ollie at the end. I do honestly, and I think yesterday got him and us a reprieve. It got him and us a reprieve yesterday, because the Chelsea game certainly didn't get any reprieves, and definitely the Brentford game, that was not a reprieve. So I just hope we can go to the end of the season and secure sixth. If we secure sixth, I'll say, right, we're in the Europa League, we'll take that. But if we drop out of that sixth place and forget fourth and fifth, that's unrealistic.
Conference League's mad. Man United can't be in that. That's
no,
crazy.
exactly.
Yeah, it is. We have to say it is a genuine possibility.
Off current form,
with how we're
off
playing.
current form,
it is.
that's where we're ending up.
Want to bring in KG and Good Vibe John. KG, Minna said she thinks you're loading up a big rant. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why she thinks that.
Reload it.
Yeah,
it's quiet, isn't it?
Just chilling. No, I'm just chilling, waiting my turn. Yeah, man. I kind of want to talk about like some of the things that is a bit annoying, though. Not with the fans or nothing like that, but like some of the decisions right now, like some of the reffing decisions, is a bit disgusting. I know we're so angry, so we kind of like we're kind of not paying a lot of attention to it, but it does stink a bit. Like, I don't know where it is with Kambawala. Had one yesterday, Kambawala, sorry. He had one where he went in for a lovely tackle, and then he gets yellow carded.
That was mad. Was that actually what? With the replay of that, was it a clean tackle? Was it
clean?
It's the ball.
Yeah, obviously I was on the other side of the pitch, and it still looked like.
There's been so much. There's been so many, and I just like, even when you get referees coming out after the game saying, "Hey, I wouldn't have done that. It wasn't a penalty to me." Like that stuff, we're not really complaining about those decisions because we kind of just, we never want to complain about these things, but we're not getting the best of it when it comes to like VAR and just these decisions. Like ever since Klopp called us out for winning a lot of penalties, I feel like it's been a big shift. It's been a big shift, and it like Chelsea was given 2 penalties in that last game, and sometimes when they give you one, they kind of consider not giving it out. Next one, they're like, nah, but then none of that is happening. That's not happening, and that kind of annoys me.
Do you think it's because KG? Sorry to interrupt. Do you think it is because we are playing so badly that the fans are just like, I can't even bring myself to bring it up?
There's significant things though. Yesterday, there's some significance in. I get we're so angry. So like when I saw the challenge, because Aaron Wan-Bissaka one, I looked at it, I was like, oh, and then I'll never forget this because I've never seen this in football. I remember when Maguire, something happened, and it was a game where they said Maguire could have been in the eye line of the goalkeeper, and they just looked at it and looked at it and looked at it. Fulham. And I thought to myself, how strange. Never seen that before. Like I've never seen, he's in the eye line, we must address this. But there's this thing when it does go to VAR or it not going to VAR for a long time, it's a bit frustrating. And I think maybe the club or maybe the manager needs to be a bit more. I've seen people strangle. Other players do the Casemiro strangle thing. No justice. It's just, again, I would just like it to be a bit more fairer. There's been times when, you remember when we had that big argument about the Rashford one and stuff, and I'm seeing softest things given, and then after it doesn't, it's not even when you say it evens itself out. I can't really see it even itself out. So there's that I'm a bit frustrated about. And he doesn't say, like, our manager doesn't talk himself into, when he's got to pay a fine with the FA and stuff because he's angry. But I think he might need to do that. Ten Hag, that could help him with just coming out and saying, no, that's wrong. And at least if he's on there, he doesn't complain. Fixture list, whatever happens, he's not complaining, but he probably has to add that. That's probably a bit shrewd. You saw what Klopp did in the end of the game. Klopp did something so clever. Klopp does the line. He goes, if Man United play Arsenal in that same way, Man United are definitely losing. He knows what he's trying to do.
Right.
He knows.
He's right.
No, but it's not about that. It's about the setup. He knows it's a mind game. It's a thing saying, because you don't want to embarrass. You're basically saying, like, you see how he told us that only one team came to play football, and ever since then, he hasn't beaten us. Ever since he's
they can't find the formula. Yeah,
he can't beat us. You know what I mean? Which is strange, but he wants the best version. The Man United that gear up to play Liverpool, He wants that version. And he knows probably if I don't say something, I'm not gonna get that. He's playing. That's on the level of Sir Alex 3D chess levels. What he was doing in that game. That was a message to us, and the thing is to have some pride. But yeah,
here's one though, KG. With that though, to play devil's advocate, if we do play that like that against Arsenal, will Arsenal beat us?
What's that?
If we do play like that against Arsenal, will Arsenal beat us?
Absolutely. If we start like that, but then again, if Arsenal get them decisions like that, yeah, they'll beat us. Again, we should have won. Even in that game yesterday, we should have won. As mad as it was, they get a goal from a penalty, and then the first goal was kind of well worked. That's good, a nice set piece. But then shouldn't have been the winners. My man dived. Let's talk about that. It's not being, what do you call it? That's not being addressed. It's almost like sweep under the carpet. That shouldn't happen.
I'm looking at that. I was looking at that as well.
It's a dive.
I'm looking at the slow mo. He catches him twice.
I thought he put his foot between his legs and he caught his foot in his legs.
Yeah.
I didn't think that it. Do you understand what I mean? I think he put his foot in between Wan-Bissaka's legs. It wasn't that
it looked like it was Elliot that initiated the contact because the only thing you would say with Wan-Bissaka is you would just go like, why put yourself
Go
in
to the
that
ground?
position?
Owen, one thing
I'm not saying that means it's definitely a penalty. I'm just saying you
shouldn't have done it.
Situation,
No, but you shouldn't have done it. But then you have VAR for a reason, because I know when they look at tackles, when they look at tackles,
if we're relying on that,
they don't look at tackles with in normal speed. They slow motion it. They just say, they look at the impact and say, oh, that looks like a dirty one. And anything in slow motion could look nasty. So where's that slow motion freeze frames effects going when it's in situations like that? Yeah. But then again,
we know that. We know that. But if we're relying on VAR, we're already screwed because it will not help us. VAR is rubbish. Officiating in the Premier League is rubbish. I'm almost beyond that point with VAR at the moment, because the moment we're having to rely on it for impartiality or fairness, we are screwed, because it is not fit for purpose. Referees in England are not fit for purpose. They're rubbish. And you're right, we don't get the rub of the green, but I still would look at, if I was Wan-Bissaka afterwards, I'd still be like, I shouldn't have done that. I should have gone down. Because the moment, like you say in boxing, when you go, the moment you leave it to the judges, you hope that it will be, fair. It's not supposed to. Yeah,
boxing is corrupt. I understand that. Boxing is the underworld. No, but boxing is like literally brown envelope. We can make something look like it's disgusting, and it's gone through the right time. You know what I mean? And the mafia's connection to box, it's there. So I expect that. If you're telling me the mafia are running, the Premier League Masters and that, we got a problem here.
Of course they are.
KG, while I go to Good Fives, John, I just sent you a DM on Twitter, which was an interesting slowed down thing, which I haven't seen before. It's just interesting. I just want to see what you think of this clip that I've just sent you.
I saw another slowed down on Twitter,
yeah. It's, I don't know. If anything, I'm looking at it as just I could see why Harvey Elliott is 100% being smart. He's being smart. He is making sure he gets touched. But if that's my player, if I'm taking the bias out of it, if that's Marcus Rashford, or if that,
where's the touch?
The right on Harvey Elliott.
The right leg. It's the parting leg.
His right foot. Yeah, his right foot on Wan-Bissaka's knee. It clips. You can see it. It's very, very faint, but Wan-Bissaka's out of control. He's nowhere near the ball. Harvey Elliott sees him coming, moves the ball out of the way.
You know, he's talking about the soft ones, because
it's soft. Absolutely. But it's clever. It's clever, bro. We can't really.
But it's not.
Milk. It happens to every team. Like, I'm like,
not, because we find a way. I'll never forget, especially when we're talking about the Rashi one and all these other ones. When I'm moaning, he said, "It's not a foul," and that's like a phantom touch. I never even get. There was one that we gave against Man City, and then he gave one for holding. I couldn't. I've never seen it.
Look, we've been done over, but I feel I personally just look at that, and I'm just looking at the defender
in a big derby, when there was reluctance. I never forget Man City versus Arsenal. There was a reluctance to even get the cards out. He's like, let us play, let it go. And it's like, whoa, again, it's just, there's just inaccuracies. There's a lot wrong. And I hate when these refs come out and tell us, hey, I wouldn't have given that one. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot,
just quickly before we carry on, our good vibes, John, we're going to come straight to you. But just a little bit of news from our good friends at United District. They're just saying that Gareth Southgate is not liked by some within Manchester United. There's a full story on United District to see where their sources have come from, what they're saying.
They just say in Netflix that they go that yes, it's like some basically it says, although reports state that Southgate is INEOS' preferred choice, that is not a view shared by all within Old Trafford. United District understands that despite rumours of Gareth Southgate being high on INEOS' potential manager list, the England manager is not liked by some within the club. This does not include those related to INEOS. So we could be getting division already. In big choices.
Yeah, exactly. Check out the full article in there. Good vibes, John. Good vibes, John. How you feeling with the stuff that we've been talking about so far? And sorry, bro, sorry it's taking 25 minutes for you to interject next time, bro. It should be 25 minutes.
Yeah, he just waits so lovely, man. So
yeah,
nice.
Don't wait, bro. Otherwise, just say, you guys shut the F up. I'm here to talk. Yeah? don't say it like that, but you get
He'll definitely say it to us.
I mean,
yeah, but the floor's yours, bro. The floor's all yours.
Yeah, no, just, I mean, with respect to the penalty calls, I mean, dude, KG does make a good point. But at the end of the day, like, I think the overall performance just kind of spoke to where the result was heading. I mean, we saw it against Chelsea. We saw it against Brentford. We saw it against these, in the past performances. And I after that result against Liverpool, I was so, like, in the mix of weird emotions. I was confused. I was frustrated. I was like relieved at the same time. When you go to the bathroom, it's just one of the, like, your stomach's just grumbling. And like you just like let it all out, like you just take the wheel and it just empties out, but you don't know how you feel at the end. You know what I mean? Like it just kind of felt like that. I just didn't know if I felt relieved or if I felt frustrated at the end of it. Owen, don't give me that wince like you don't know what I'm talking about. I know damn well you know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about, John. I was just wondering. As soon as I hear the beginning to the analogy, I'm going, where's he going? Where's he going?
We have to wait. We have to brace ourselves when John goes down that road.
And it just feels like this season. The past 2-3 performances have pretty much encapsulated the lows of our season, and it is summarized as a whole that how we can compete. You guys are talking about Southgate, you were talking about the referees. I think we need to have a little discussion about Casemiro, and I think that's a big thing. I think that's a big topic on many Man United fans, including the chat. I've been keeping an eye on it. I love Casemiro, don't get me wrong, and I still think that Casemiro, with respect to his positives, his strengths, you see what he does with respect to build-up play. He's so quick and he's so determined to play that forward pass on the first touch. He's always looking for that. And I love the proactiveness and, according to Gary Neville, profligate. The words are too techy, but he always loves that aggressive forward pass. You know what I mean? And I love that about Casemiro, and that's what he showed us last season. But this season, he's a yard off pace, maybe 2. And many a times we've seen all of Man United's midfielders just rushing forward. Bruno, Kobe, Cassie, everybody's up forward. But the difference between last season and this season in particular is that even though Casemiro might be the sort of the deepest lying midfielder of the 3, he just doesn't have what it takes to come back and track that runner back. And what we've seen that many times this season. I have a whiteboard there which I don't want to pull out. There was a bunch of weird graphics there. I wish I had prepped that in advance, but basically it just goes to show that Casemiro, he could play out of position, but he had the pace and the strength and the endurance to keep up, especially last season. But this season, he just doesn't have that. And it really hurts me to say because I love Casemiro, but I can see why we look so leaky, especially in the middle of the park. And you can't rely on Kobe Mainoo to do all of that on his own. You see Erik ten Hag being so careful with respect to Kobe's fitness and his overall health, taking him off. Lots of Man United fans are like, why is Erik ten Hag taking him off? Why is he taking him off? Because you need to protect these players. Garnacho is a different specimen. This man can run like there's no tomorrow. Not everybody should be sort of played like that. Even Garnacho, even if he can run 130 minutes, I would still not let him run 130 minutes. These are young players. You have to keep in mind, they're playing in one of the most toughest, if not the toughest league in the world. You know what I mean? Like these are full grown-ass men, 18-year-olds going against these full grown-ass men. It's a lot. You know what I mean? But overall, with respect to Casemiro, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, guys.
I think it's one of them, but then there's a coaching issue alongside a Casemiro issue. The coaching issue is these lot are not running. They're not like, they're picking the worst times to press, or someone's pressing and the rest of them are not, or they're doing, they're just not like, it's just not organized, That's one of the biggest And there is leadership in there, but then there's also like this foolishness as well. Like even Bruno, I love Bruno to bits, but when you really look at the difference, when you do, like, I know there was a super chat that I will get to, but it talks about Flex talking about Arsenal, and like the more doing these hate alongs and all this other stuff, I've got to watch other clubs, and I'm telling you right now, what Erdegaard's doing compared to what Bruno's doing, it's night and day. And it's not even like with someone with firm glasses on, like red tinted glasses. I'm telling you, that's not good enough. If we're in a 3v2, Bruno doing a wayward pass and it not getting to his man, or Bruno when he feels a bit of pressure or something and he goes over, yes, it could be a foul. Bruno, you're not gonna get it. You've got a bad reputation. Stay on your feet. But then even when it happens, it's a super transition and they always get a shot off. So you know what? That needs to change. Like, and there's certain times where you can see Casemiro can't get back. And even Kobe I love him. He hasn't got all the mobility in the world. So we need to build something that kind of works for him. So when you're talking today about making him an 8, I don't know if the 8 is, maybe the 6 is for him when he can get involved here and there. But asking him to get up and down and be as mobile, I don't know if you can be like not a pacey 8 and be as effective. I worry about that.
KG, what about the passing though, KG? Yesterday, KG, honestly, I thought KG was going to have a meltdown on the match view. He was furious yesterday with the passing and maybe it goes back to the Kobe thing of mobility, can't get around that much, but it's difficult to, get around that much when every pass is misplaced or every pass is every pass is up to here, or we do 1-2s and it's like stretched legs. It's crazy, isn't it, KG?
I can't lie, literally, and that's when I talk about when Flex is on that rip it up talk. I'm like, bro, they can't pass. As much as we're talking about looking after the ball and having control.
That's what I mean by rip it up, though. Get
no, but then they're not good players. But they're not good players. Then I can't say that.
So get out.
But then then again, it gets into I don't want to go back over old ground because we did it clearly. But then Brentford, when we talk about the Brentford and these other players, they can pass. They can pass. They can put as a minimum. I get your name on the back of your jersey says Rashford, but what's going on with you in take-ons? Why is it when Garnacho comes off, when you go off and Garnacho's on, all of a sudden we're taking people down on the left? We're actually looking a bit dangerous.
I think there's quite a few different issues involved in the same bit. So that goes into the bit that you're saying, which 100% is true. Is there's an application issue with some players? Like, are you running hard enough? Do you want it enough in the games? Are you willing to push yourself through the threshold, which is a basic requirement as a footballer, but these days it's celebrated a lot because we don't see it. And then there's the other side of, like you saying, they can pass, but we can't pass. So I'm saying rip it up. I'm saying, like, well, to me, like when John's saying about Casemiro, to me he's not good on the ball. He can't pass that good. He has that. He does the same, that cast ball where it gets into him and he hooks it first time. He did it yesterday. He does it every single game. Every single game, he'll do at least 2 Casemiro specials. Instant. And you know when it usually comes as well? When there's actually time and space to do something else. It's like, he's like, nope, not on that. Nope, no, thank you. No.
Did you see that on the edge of the box?
No, the passing yesterday was wicked bad. It was wild. Like, there was one time where, like KG's right. There was one time where Marcus was on the left-hand side with Wambi, and the ball was like high in the air. So the only way for us to maintain possession was for Rashi to actually sort of side foot, cushion the ball back upwards towards the path of Wambi. Wambi could have brought the ball back down to some relative ease and cushioned it back to Rashi. But instead, Wambi lifted his leg back up and he juggled it almost back into the air of Rashi in this really uncomfortable position, and we lost possession there. That kind of, where's Flex going? I was going to talk to him about Cassie. Where's he going, man? No, man, Cassie deserves some respect. I think there's too much slander. There's too much slander on this Cassie. I know he's not been elite, and I know he's not been good, but there's too much slander. I'm just saying, he's one of the more progressive passers of the ball. I understand it from a fitness standpoint and all that stuff. He's not been on it.
Casemiro.
Yeah, he's still one of our more. I would rather see Casemiro ball distributing down in the back than any other Man United players right now. He has
No,
Casemiro left
John,
back.
I don't know, John.
He's
Nah,
had a
he's
very
terrible.
You see the
He's
pass he
had a
did across the
very-
box. You see the pass he did across the box
Man.
yesterday. There was one on the edge of our own box, like
He's had a
late
man.
towards the game, and I didn't even know what he was trying to do, but somehow it went to his right, and I was like,
How many
what?
times? How many times?
You tried to
has
clear it,
any
Owen.
of
You
our
tried
other-
to clear it.
It was crazy.
Excluding Kobe, how many times have our other players, especially Bruno Fernandes, and you guys know I love Bruno, how many times we saw him and go, I don't know what he was trying to do there? Casemiro does the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying he's phenomenal. I'm not saying
John,
incredible world class.
he killed the vibes.
John,
I don't know what you're doing right now.
John, I'll be honest. I think he's one of the league. We've got a lot like it, by the way, because Scott McTominay would fall into it. You know, we've got players who are just so technically limited. It's scary. Like for me, Casemiro. There's a reason why Casemiro is looking bad. There's a reason. It isn't all just him, right? Hear me out on this, right? He's come from a team in Real Madrid for his whole career, for the best part of what, 10 years? He's there, you know, playing with Cruz, playing with Modric, then Valverde a little bit later. You know, he's playing with some ridiculous, and we'll get to the super chats and then get to Marcel and Kenny, etc., etc. He's playing with ridiculously, like, best of a generation technical level of footballers, right? So his role within that team has less emphasis on that, right? And then I feel like he's come to the Premier, and he's playing in a very organized team as well. So he comes to Man United, where there's huge gaps. So that's something he's not used to, where he's got to cover a lot of ground, as do all of our midfielders, because it's a mess. And then on top of that, he's playing in a team that's trying to rely on him, which no one's ever relied on him in his whole career, to sort of like, I don't know, like be this sort of dictator, and it's like
scorer and everything.
He's just never really been that. I feel like he's given us. He's been a scorer of big goals. I feel like he gets it. He plays with passion, and obviously he's experienced, so he knows his way around the pitch. But on the ball, I feel like he's terrible, bro. I'll be honest.
He's not terrible. No, he's not terrible. I think we're just in the fall off, guys. In terms of Real Madrid, no.
Space and time, he's all right, but you don't really get that here. And if he's asked to play under any pressure, that ball's going.
No, because he's played. What are we talking about? He's one of the best players in that Liverpool one. You know when they're chasing the quadruple in the final, and the ball didn't go out of play. He was on point. Like as in,
that's what I'm saying. Those things, that's like the fight and the experience. That's like I'm talking about the technical, like with the ball at your feet and trying to play passes. Like I just don't see that. And he can't cover that. I just don't think he's a good partner for Kobe. I would say that. I don't think he is.
I do agree, but he's the best option that we got. I'd love to see Bruno in the six at some point, because I honestly think that I told y'all before Mason Mount was signed for the long-term picture. But I would never put Bruno there right now in this moment in time, because our sixes we have no options
in the 6 kg.
Bruno in the where?
In the 6.
I'm saying we have no.
He did it last year for some games.
I'm saying we have no options. If I had any choice, maybe Bruno in the 6, but I would never want that. And the only option we have is Casemiro. That's all we got with Kobe. And I don't want that pressure on Kobe, because this young man is having to do everything. This dude is taking balls, beating man, beating the next man, driving forward, trying to link up. And then some man in front of him, one of his teammates, botches the ball with some ridiculous pass. And now he's having to track 50 yards back. And he's got to do it all over again. As an 18-year-old, some of you man in the chat talking like, oh, y'all 18-year-olds, have you been 18-year-olds? Have you went against a big grown-ass man? This shit is not easy. I don't know what y'all talking about in the chat. I'm moving mad.
Nice is the way Flex talks about Casemiro is like he's not one of the greatest in football. And this is what I'm saying. The CV, like Varane's one of the greatest centre-backs in football. But it's like, and when he plays, you know, he's okay. I like him. He's my favourite. But it's like, you know, injuries are a reason why he's not one of, like, you know, the top draw now. But like, I'm not taking away from what Casemiro has done in his career. Jesus Christ, like 5 champions, like it's a joke what he's done.
So you're saying he's never won anything?
But exactly, I'm saying he's never been a good player. He's not won anything. And who is he? What has he done? Who is he? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Come to our dressing room. There's loads of super chats. I'll get that up for you guys now. Chelsea aftermath. Should I be expecting UV Raw episode Flex versus KG table match? Highlight Bruno's goal too. Don't just hammer him. Yeah, his goal was incredible. It wasn't until I actually saw it back multiple times I realized how good it actually was. It's in the stadium, you just see it. You think, oh, he's lobbed him from there. Must have been easy. No, it wasn't. It wasn't. All Elite says Villa and Spurs can drop points, but that's assuming we we get all the points we need. We can't eat our own dinner, so please stop the nonsense. Glory, glory, United View. Andy is paid to abuse us, which is beautiful. Andy, Andy, so we're going to take his money and read his super chat while he abuses us, KG. Says, Fleck, can you inform KG how to continue to arse-lick Arsenal like you did on DR yet again today? You act like the best thing since sliced bread, you closet Arsenal fan. Big up to you, Andy, on Monday, the 8th of April as well. I want you to drop another one cussing me, please. Oliver Damilere says, Flex, can you interview Bayern fans on Nagelsmann and Flick? Also, Brighton or Sassuolo fans on De Zerbi will be interesting. I feel like we only really do that when we kind of know.
Happening.
Like, I don't really want to. I don't want to be trying to push that. Like, get him out. Let me go find out the new guys.
Can we not get any Middlesbrough fans for Shrewsbury?
Yeah, exactly. Let's go.
He's good manager.
From 15 years ago. Where was it like with Gareth?
Was it 09? When was it? When did he have him? 09?
Yeah,
we could reach out to Wheater and he might be available. Like, just come on.
M. Sati says, for the first time yesterday, I didn't care about City 4th consecutive title, but I hope the treble is gone before our game with Arsenal. Biggie the First says, you guys know it's a United fan channel pushing the Southgate narrative. He pushed so hard for Eric Ten Hag. He scares fans by pushing Southgate as a replacement. I don't know who you mean. I don't know. We're just looking at the news. I don't know.
He's talking about more coverage.
Well, I'm also saying he like Voldemort. he.
You just knew KG would maybe know who he was talking about. Out of everybody, KG knows. Shock. And KG was never going to miss an opportunity to just move past it. Everyone else, not really sure, but we're just going to keep. I know. Hey, me, sir. Hey. The Managerial says, ever since Jurgen spoke out and complained about referee decisions, we ceased to get favourable decisions, and Liverpool continues to get calls their way, which is basically what KG's saying. Red Baron says, hey, KG, what's going on?
I'm fine. I was just chilling. My kids, the kids are just making me tired, bro. I'm so tired.
Half-term holiday.
Get them back to school.
Lil Yo-Yo says, KG, shout out your boy J. Cole apologizing.
You lot don't understand J. Cole, man.
I
don't do that. Like, I know J. Cole. I
love J. Cole, 100%.
J. Cole fans know that he can do this. This is on brand.
Yeah,
this is on brand.
But I ain't gonna lie.
If you know J. Cole, you know what he's about. You know what J. Cole is about.
But you also know he's about to go for it in the first place, though. To go for he done the warm up.
No, listen,
bro. That didn't really.
Don't get me started. If someone says,
we need another podcast.
All right, cool. Say no.
Owen has no idea.
My reaction was Joe Cole done. Joe Cole he does good stuff in TNT. So Joe Cole was fine. Good player.
Good vibes, John. I bet you're a big J. Cole fan as well.
Absolutely. Come on now.
Yeah. Marcel, you a J. Cole
Who's
fan?
winning? Who's winning in that right now?
You can't win for saying it's just big me. You don't win for that. Don't take the piss. If you like hip hop, it's just big me. Do you know how many bars? Do you know what? Come on, don't piss me off. Let's move on.
But you also don't win. You also don't win when you put out a diss and
sending a message saying
away.
Really... If you listen to the album, it's really good. Might delete later. It's really good.
Yeah, that's true. But this is the diss, bro. This is hip hop, bro. And he's gone, I'm coming with smoking, and actually
you can't win. If I win for that, that's taking the piss.
Yeah, it's null and void. It's just null and void. It was never really a proper thing. Red Baron says, Frankie de Jong, that's all I'm saying. So he wanted. Owen Stylevisor, Celeb KG was watching a dodgy stream yesterday. Man said, I ain't paying these prices. You can take the man out of Nigeria, but not Nigeria out of the man.
Oh yes, no, I wasn't though. I wasn't. I just had some internet issues.
He really wasn't actually.
I wasn't. Owen was making sure.
Yeah.
Chalaboy Comic says there's a lack of empathy with our style. We try low percentage pass after finally regaining possession. Eric Ten Hag doesn't want an open midfield. Our bad passing and decision making is directly correlated to our gaps. And H says, why doesn't Ten Hag play to the strength of his current players until he has more players that can play his style? Bournemouth game will be make or break. And Crash says, this wow, big super chat as well. By
With
the
the
way.
Whopper, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
Wow.
big- it's
Do you
a
know
big
what? I caught
conversation.
yeah, this has nothing to do with football or Manchester United. I'm disappointed with Jacob. It is a big conversation, but we can't do this here.
I wonder who Kenny's supporting in this. Kenny,
I'm not. I don't get involved. I don't get involved.
Good man, Kenny.
Smart, very
Good man,
wise.
Kenny. Smart man, Kenny.
there's one guy with your name, so just support the Kenny. There's a Kenny involved, so support him.
Guru says yesterday I think we turned up in the Stretford end, so we made a big difference. It was always loud. It's always loud in those games. Oh, Andy's back. Okay. Was that a different Andy or the same one? I'm not sure.
It's a different.
Was it? Oh, it was a different one. As another Andy, was awesome getting to know the man behind the comedian actor. With your interview with Matisse, hope to see interviews with the rest of y'all. Or the rest of y'all. Yeah, that was a good interview. Yours and Turkish's one was good. It was good. So yeah, I think we're there with the super chats. Floor's back open, guys. Off you go.
Yeah.
Wait, I want to get Kenny's thoughts just on like midfield, and like I don't know if you lot are trying to look forward to next season a bit, but like where we go, like how do we make it better? If it's still with Ten Hag, if Ten Hag's still here, what do you reckon we need to do? How do we get the best out of like what we got with the centre?
I think it's leadership. I think it's leadership on and off the pitch from the way that we're set up. We saw against Chelsea. We cannot finish a game. We cannot finish a game. I thought yesterday, its substitutions with 10 minutes to go told us that we were defending. We were going to defend that goal because at 10 minutes, he was taking our paciest player off in Garnacho or whatever, and we're bringing Amrabat on and others. So that is, to me, is like years ago, we'd have gone to win 3-1. We'd have gone to win 3-1. Right. Yesterday, we invited that second goal. No matter how you look at it. Chelsea, the game at Chelsea, we lost 2 goals again at Chelsea in the 90s. Was it the 96th and the 100th minute or whatever? And that, I've got to say, is about leadership. So the leadership on the pitch, be it come from our captain or from our manager on the touchline, I think it's awful. It's awful. We have the only goalkeeper that doesn't waste time in injury time. We have the only team that I think Casemiro got a yellow in injury time yesterday, right? But that is part of the dark side, if you want to say, of football, where you accept that you're going, you're potentially going to lose the game, right? And we're in injury time against Chelsea, and we threw it away because of poor leadership. It's because we all lost our heads. And the people you've got to look at is the likes of Bruno and Ten Hag. Ten Hag should be saying to them players, he should be railroading them. You shouldn't be getting game after game after game where we're just 6 fans here. We're just 6 fans, right? And if you look at it from the 6 fans anywhere, all Manchester United fans that I know are talking exactly the same as we're talking now. Doesn't matter. If you go on social media, if you go on YouTube or wherever, we're all saying the same things. The same things are happening over week and week again. The same players over and over again. For us to get change and be it in the midfield or whatever you want, there's only one thing that can happen, and that's got to come from the very, very top, and that's INEOS. And I'm concerned that we have this expectation that INEOS can deliver something for us, and they can't. Because if it was all about the money, Newcastle will be top of the league. It isn't. So whatever we're going to go through in the next 2, 3, 4 seasons is massive. It is absolutely massive because we cannot buy our way out of it. We could in the 70s and 80s, and Ferguson could. Liverpool, City did, and then they shut the door on City. Chelsea did with Abramovich, and they shut the door on him. There's no club now, I think we've seen it today. I've Everton got another 2-point deduction today as well.
Yeah.
Do you see where I'm coming from? So when we were sat there last year and we was talking about he's brought Weghorst and he's brought Vittin, it's no choice. They had no choice because they couldn't spend the money. Because I think there was a genuine fear of points deductions and so on. We're going to see it with Chelsea next year. Chelsea won't make Champions League. They might make the Conference League. So their income levels will just
And
completely
they won't even be
fall
allowed
off
to
the
play in the
edge.
Conference League because they got, unless they sell players because of the European,
Exactly.
they're meeting European
Exactly.
regulations.
So what we are seeing as fans is not what INEOS are seeing. INEOS are seeing the cold harsh reality of that balance, them books, of that profit and loss account. And until we can increase the income, right, and we can get rid of the overspend in regards to players' wages. So what we could be seeing big name players go. We could be seeing big name players go out. And this is why we've gone for Dan Ashworth and all these people to bring in the pearls, right? And the pearls that we are going to be bringing in are not going to be coming from Real Madrid. They're not going to come from Barcelona anymore.
Thank
Then
God.
but what I'm saying is, years ago, we'd have asked for a Vinicius Junior or this or whatever,
no, we ain't got that kind of
and then back.
Yeah.
Them days have
The
gone.
Jim's not on that.
For Man
Yeah,
United.
Never said
They're
that.
not on that.
Kenny is Kenny Lamar. Let's see what Marcel Cole is saying, because my man's itching over there. Yeah, Marcel Cole, what we saying, fam?
Yeah.
I feel like you know, the next £1 billion, it needs to be spent correctly, and we've got the best in class in for that. You know, Dan Ashworth should be able to spend that a lot better than what we've done in the previous time. I'm really interested to see how that pans out. I mean, we obviously need still, for some weird reason, another DM and centre backs. I think that's important. Just answering your question there, KG, in terms of looking into the summer, what we need to acquire. I think it's still going to be centre backs and a DM. This season has been horrible in terms of the injuries and that kind of thing. So I'm looking forward to having a fit squad for a long period of time, KG. Go on.
You think Kambuala is one of the players that you think, oh, you know what, we might be solid there? Not saying that, is he one for the future, as in one for next season? Or do you think, still going by a lot of defenders? And that's to everyone.
Bro. You're right, bro. I think we definitely have to consider him a part of the group of your 6 or 5 or how many defenders are going to be amongst the squad. It's a massive credit to Ten Hag in terms of the amount of players, youth players in particular, that he's been able to embed into the squad and make them feel, you know, we're talking about Garnacho. This looks like a seasoned pro, especially from where he came from last season, how he's come, you know, leaps and bounds. So I'm happy in that regard. I think it's just about the structure and how it's able to get these, you know, top level footballers that can do what Ten Hag needs them to do. I think that the bottom line is legs. We need legs in every single position. He's asking us to do a lot of running. You know, Newcastle, you know, they have a lot of heavy running kind of players that can run and they're dynamic. We need a lot of those kind of players, and that means getting the Ericssons out, getting Martials out of the club, Maguire's, Lindelofs. You know, these players can't run and play from the halfway line and do the rest defense, you know, which, by the way, Ten Hag is saying is part of the next step within the process. Being able to retain the ball and know when to pass it and when not to pass it and hold the football. And he's obsessing over rest defense right now, you know, being able to run back and protect the goal with the extreme low block. So we've got, it's very exciting the direction that I think he's going in, KG. You know, we started off this season with a no recognized striker. And we purchased we purchased a striker injured, a very young one. But let's see what, you know, INEOS can bring in for.
I wouldn't call it exciting though. I'd just say it's I have more trepidation. I'm hoping, but to call it exciting with what we've seen now would be like a stretch.
Why?
I think that's unfair. I think that's unfair.
What to say? It's exciting. It's exciting.
I think
now with the players.
Ireland, I think Ireland's exciting. I do. I give them a chance.
I just meant in the style of how we're playing. I didn't think like when we look at how we're playing, I can't tell you that I'm ultimately excited for your future. I just hope he's gonna fix it. I'm more like that's how I honestly feel. I don't feel like I'm looking at something saying, you know what, next season we're gonna be ready, because I haven't seen that yet. As a fan, I'm just hoping that.
What does be ready mean, KG, for you in terms of, because if you look at our football heritage where we've been over the last few years, we're not going to be challenging first or second next season. We're not going to be winning the Champions League next season, but we're going to be a little bit more competitive against the top sides. I think we've been able to ascertain a good enough counter-attack, because they're going to have better squads than us. So the flow of the game is going to be more within their favor, you know. So we're going to be back against the wall.
What do you think? Next season, should I be looking forward to 30 shots faced, 30 to 40 shots faced?
if we can get better centre backs, because you know, when Virgil van Dijk came into Liverpool, you know, you had a footballer there that you can trust 2v1, you know, against Liverpool's favor, 1v1 against Liverpool's favor. When Man City get hold of Diaz, you can trust 2v1, 1v. That's, you know, when Yap Stam came to our football club, when like once you get to that, once the club purchases that caliber of footballer, you're looking at a completely different system, a completely different game, and how it's meant to be played to a degree. Ten Hag, I think, has done it's been really well in terms of trying to stay true to this model as much as possible, in terms of this high risk, high reward model that he's created. But as we can see, KG, these mitigating circumstances have decimated his ambitions. You know, we've gone into 30 different combinations of defensive lines this season. That's just how can you build routines in that kind of scenario? So I really do hope that INEOS proves something to us by keeping him on and trying to deliver something for us. Because in my mind, INEOS are going to be here for the next 50 years or so. Ten Hag, maybe the next 10, 7. So they have to show that they can purchase good talent, be able to sell it on, and continue that cycle. I'm still excited for the next season, because I know that this crazy style of football, this rock and roll total football, for want of a better word, is like all great managers do. They create their own vision, they create their own paths. The structure above them allows them to ascertain more talents, the best in class, and it's all about managers and structures money, really, and chairman's money. That's just how the top level football is.
I look at the way we're playing, and I'm like, well, there's a mixture of, okay, fair play. We're saying he ain't got the players to play his style, whatever, but we can't keep playing like that. We cannot be like that. That can't be his vision. It can't be. It's impossible. Like the bit where KG kept saying to me, "No, Flex, he's lying in the press conferences when he's saying this, that, and the other." But actually, you know, after yesterday's game, I think he was saying like, we can't be like that. Like in the last 3 games, look at the points we've chucked away, and you know he does in some moments still say the shit things that we are doing. Yeah. And he said, not good enough. I got mixed emotions because on one hand, can't you give it away again like that and make silly mistakes, but on the other hand, we did show some fight. But when I look at it overall with how we're playing, we're so far off, in my opinion, being a good team. Like the way we play the game, and that's not just from the Chelsea game, because like you said, professionals have to have accountability and game management. We all saw him shouting to them, "Keep the ball, you wallies, just keep it. What are you doing?" Bruno against Luton. Last few minutes, they nearly score. Like players do make individual sort of stupid decisions, but then the pivot away from that in the games, it's alarm. Like you can't build anything playing like that. Like the reason why we did all right against Liverpool both times, if we're 100% honest, it's because they didn't take their chances. It's as simple as that. Now, exactly, you still have to have credit to say they didn't take it. So what are you going to do? All right, cool. 100%. Well done, boys, because you did fight. I have noticed that even though we're not playing the best football, we're playing awful football. It's not like the players have given up on Ten Hag. I wouldn't say that. They are running around. We're seeing passion and a bit of togetherness sometimes. But the overall tactical setup of what we're trying to do, that is nowhere near sustainable.
No,
Brentford, was criminal. Chelsea, basketball match, 2 shit teams. Like we were sitting in the studio, we were laughing. KG said, "Not now, Flex. Like let's not do. No, come on. I know we can't cuss ourselves right now." But it derived from, what on earth is this? This is laughable. They can't pass the ball. It's insane. And then Liverpool was the same thing. They were in cruise control after the first, I'm going to say 6 minutes, 7 minutes.
6 minutes.
Yes. After the ball went in the back of the net that was disallowed for offside. Even in that moment, Onana made a wicked save from Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai missed one that was crossed in from Robertson. Like Salah blazed one over the bar. Like they was having loads and loads of chances. Like
16.
The game,
we got to
our 0. 16 shots to our 0.
And that's just not sustainable. You can't build. And then then what we can't say is, well, you know what? We're playing the league leaders, so you have to expect that. No, we did that against Brentford. No, we did that against bloody Wolves. No, Bournemouth beat us 3-0 at home. No, Fulham rained in on us and done. Harrison Reed was doing what Alexis McAllister was doing, World Cup winner. So that's where we're at.
Don't you think it's more of the players within this model are so poor at trying to enact what this model is that we're just conceding so many chances, Fleck? I just feel like you know, like I've always been trying to say, the ambition to play how we're trying to play is it's a very, very daunting task. It's high risk, high reward. And because of that, the lesser teams are they have a simple job in the way in which they set up, and the whole world knows how to exploit us. So, you know, we've got players that haven't got the right temperament or the right profiles for this style. So they're overcommitting for that high risk and high reward. They're not being cautious enough. And then, you know, against the better teams, it's a basketball match because they're also playing a high risk game as well, because that's how the best teams play to win their football matches. They play from that high risk standpoint. So we've tried to set up a team that's got good low blocks elements, and we've tried to set up a team that's, you know, got a high pressing or turnover element. So I don't know. I feel like we need the player profiles to play this system.
But have we got the manager? Have we got the manager as well? Because if I'm INEOS, don't forget us 6 here, just like Brailsford and the rest of them yesterday, sat there at Chelsea watching this, and you're thinking, Jesus, what are we watching here? We're getting absolutely hammered and we're getting peppered. We're throwing games away. So they have got to ask themselves about the leadership, and that's what they're about. They're about elite. And we've already mentioned it a million times. They're bringing the best in. So if the best that they're bringing in, who could you? I don't know which footballs on this planet you could bring in and play under that system, what we're playing like, because there's no structure. I don't see a structure. If I watch other teams, and I will have to, Arsenal don't have superstar world-class footballers. Ben White, for an example, we're talking about coming, right? These lads at the back at Arsenal, you watch them, they're majestic.
They've improved. They've all improved since going there. That's
exactly.
Why, yeah. None of them came
exactly.
As
And the structure, but they play within a structure. Look at Declan Rice. He's come from West Ham. You'd think he'd been a Arsenal all his life under Arteta, the way the lad's playing. Do you know? He knows exactly where he needs to be in at any moment in the game. He knows where he should be, and he's there because he has to be, and that's because Arteta makes sure that he's there. You've said it yourself. Bruno is on our corner flag. He's on their corner flag. He's playing with the ball boy, keep it ball, keep it up there. And that's what I'm saying. Bruno could not survive in that type of a team. He couldn't because he's not disciplined enough.
It's not his style. KG, I know you need to.
Not disciplined.
I gotta get this.
Yeah. Big up to you, bro. Yeah. Any closing statement as you leave?
Closing statement. We hate the referees. They suck, and I want to carry on that narrative. But it's disgusting. But yeah, I'm gonna complain about the rest today. Big up, everyone.
Big up. All right, nice one. We haven't got long left, guys. We will wrap up soon. Chalaboy said, I just want to pick up on it. He said it's easier to devise a plan without the ball than with the ball. You need technical quality to keep the ball in tight spaces. I agree with that, but also then if it's easier to devise a plan without the ball, why are we so awful without it then? There's this huge spaces everywhere. And then we press sometimes and sometimes we don't and sometimes we do. And I don't know. I just feel like I do take Marcel's point. I do agree with that. Like with the players that we have, it is more difficult to expect them to be more technically sound. So that's why some people push back and say, well, you haven't got those players right now, so be a bit more difficult to beat. If we were stinking the gaff out and teams were hardly getting a shot against us and a lot of games were like 0-0 or 1-0 or, you know, people would say, well, you know, he hasn't got the players, he's just being a bit more reserved. But I think when you keep going for it, when you don't have what you need, you look naive because it's been to our detriment that's happened.
How does Bruno learn within the system if he's not doing it now? How does Mason Mount learn within the system? How does Højlund get the minutes experienced under these conditions? How do all these players learn under these conditions if we're just going to play Ole ball?
That's what I think the balance is. I agree. That's what I think the balance is, though. Even Ole got the team to a point where, okay, he'd achieved second. He'd achieved that counter-attacking style, whatever. Yeah. And then he sprinkled the Sancho, Varane and Ronaldo and went, right, now's the time. So then we're still trying to do it with the same crap we had before then. So it's not the time to do it. That's what it shows. And then I just think there's a balance between hanging the players out to dry and trying to kick the team on. And then, of course, individual mistakes where players are just doing stupid stuff.
we haven't seen Kobe Mount Bruno for 20 games this season. You know, we haven't seen a combination of the same defense for 20 games this season. So I think there's a clear avenue as to why we're not able to get these routines in, why we're not seeing very clearly the pattern of play, the style of play. And then, like I say, you know, he has footballers that can't do what he's asking them to do. You know, once Maguire tries to step in on Traore, he gets burnt for pace, and then he can't. He doesn't have the mobility to do the 70-yard dash back towards his goal. You know, we have players that can't enact this style. But I think, you know, last season he sacrificed his model. This season he wanted to push on with it, and a load of injuries has happened. A few bad decisions here and there, like KG's mentioning, but I don't want to really mention those. But, you know, clear mitigating circumstances as to why he's not been able to enact this kind of formation and style throughout the whole game. And by the way, he has gone back to being conservative at times. Burnley away, where he done the conservative thing, counter-attacking. You know, Sheffield away, where he has tried to do that.
It's what I'm saying. It brought results. In the short term, it brought results.
Yeah.
Do you know
but
what
I don't. Yeah.
It still has his favourites though. It's not consistent. It's not. I'm sorry, but yesterday I don't think anybody had Rashford in that starting 11 yesterday, and Anthony deserved to start yesterday. The way that Anthony played against Chelsea, he definitely deserved to start.
He came on with that point to prove as well when he came on.
Exactly. So when he's putting Rashford on ahead of Anthony, 9 times out of 10, I would agree. But Rashford does not deserve to start, and Mason Mount deserves to start before Bruno Fernandes. Now, you're going to tell me, because we did it in the super chat, once we all started slating them yesterday, they all decided to score a goal. Do you know what I mean? But I thought Bruno had a stinker up to he got his goal. It's an absolute stinker. He got his goal. Brilliant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
his goal was excellent. His goal was excellent.
Fabulous goal. Fabulous goal. Could be goal of the season. Do you know what I mean?
Carmelo.
Go
on, Kenny. Finish off. Go on, Kenny.
Yeah, no, but his contribution overall was terrible.
Yeah, and we've seen that far too much, haven't we? JD Carmelo says, bro, them players have been dead from Jose and Oli. What magic or judge do you think Eric Ten Hag, do you want Eric Ten Hag to do to make them play better? Players kick the players out, basically. I'm trusting Eric Ten Hag. Red Baron says, Marcel, we're in debt. Where are we getting this money without over expenditure? Something we are trying to reverse. It's about smart choices. And Larry says, don't worry, guys. La Carrington will save us again. Yes, the youth prospects will come. Everyone is blaming, this from Killen says, everyone is blaming the poor season on injuries. I see it as an opportunity for the young players. Saplings grow best after a forest fire. And Oliver Damalere says, Marcel, do you believe Eric Ten Hag has identified player profiles to fit his system? Because whatever he is doing doesn't work. The players he has brought into the system, he isn't even using. And LJ says, should we try starting Eriksen in the 10? What do you think to that one, Marcel? Do you think he's identified player profiles to fit his system?
So yes, it's a few of them, but they haven't been here injured. Mason Mount, I think Højlund was purchased injured. But that we've still got a massive question over his talent ID in terms of, you know, Anthony, Malacia, but again, massive injury. Martinez looked extremely useful. And in terms of that massive gap that we're talking about from the midfield line and defensive line, I think Martinez was brilliant at stepping in, something that Ten Hag has asked for defenders to do, going into the midfield line and acting as a DM for moments and following that free man, something that we suffered with, I think, against Fulham at home and these kind of things. So, but that's going to be extracted from him. And I think that's the perfect way for it to be. Mo Salah wasn't Klopp's choice. You know, Pep, as amount of times, has made mistakes as well, you know, in terms of purchasing players as well. So INEOS, I think, when INEOS are trying to get the best in class at that particular job in terms of acquiring talent, that's a wonderful news to my ears. So, you know, he has a system or style of play, by the way, which I think the structure above him is trying to set up. You know, they've given him the marching orders in terms of how the football club should be playing beyond his years. So they need to be able to get the talent that is going to be able to do this and bring this to life. You know, Klopp created his own style of football, the rock and roll style, and we gave him time to produce it. He finished poorly in his first 2 seasons, like a madman, trying to produce this style that we hadn't kind of seen, this overly front foot style. Ten Hag is doing it now, and you're just seeing it unfold again. Same with Arteta, you know, to a degree, and he's followed Pep's playbook, but you know, they had to give him time, and he had a structure that believed in him. Got rid of Aubameyangs, got rid of this player, that player, that player. As soon as he wanted them gone, he got rid of them, and that's important. You know, the structures failed Ten Hag this season. Maguire shouldn't be here. Scott McTominay shouldn't be here. Martial should have left. One of the first times I met you, Fleck, I was saying Martial should have been gone then. So,
it was the first time.
It was the first time, bro.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's a lot of players in there for me that, you know, they just shouldn't be here. And the opportunity to gain footballers better suited for this system, just that day needs to come quicker for us.
Yeah. John, someone said a little bit earlier, this last topic, and then we'll kind of wrap up. Someone said, can we have a chat about Rasmus Højlund? Kick that bit off, bro. Discuss.
No, I think with respect to Højlund, I think it's just a lacking team. I really don't want to use the word style of play because I think there's just so much problems with respect to the squad that just we shouldn't even have a conversation about style of play. But for lack of a better phrase, and I think that it is a lacking style of play with respect to incorporating Højlund. He is doing his utmost best in that front line to become available, to be that extra man for a pass. Like Rasmus is constantly looking for angles to build up play with the teammates around them. Usually, if you're looking at it from a shape perspective, the nearest, the closest person in terms of proximity that needs to be doing that build up with Bruno and with Rasmus is Bruno in that number 10 role. But you rarely see Bruno do the give and goes with Rasmus. You rarely see Bruno occupying that area. So I don't really know where that shape is. Bruno is a lot more free roll. The only service that goes to Højlund are these long balls from up top, mostly from Andre. And them balls are fizzing.
Oh, he's got no chance.
The amount of physical strain behind him with a center back touch tight on it. And I was talking about this before. Like, these are grown-ass men, mind you. And Rasmus is still a young lad. Like, these grown-ass men pushing him as hard as he could. And he's withstanding that strength, that press, and to try and bring the ball down and to connect with a player, that's a lot. And we can't even do that because there's no service around them in terms of build-up. There's no style. The only ball that comes up is one of them ones. You know what I mean? There's none that comes to feet where you can just quick lay it off, run, turn the shoulder, make the run. You know what I mean? You rarely see that. So Rasmus is already having to do a lot more than he probably thought. And I honestly think that Erik ten Hag is probably also thinking the same way. I don't think he signed Rasmus for the sole purpose of expecting Rasmus to do this for 90 minutes. You know what I mean? And he's probably frustrated as hell. He's supposed to be, if you watch him at Atalanta, he occupied a lot of those spaces down the right-hand side. He's looking for crosses from Ademola Lookman. They were blazing down, making those runs. You know what I mean? You don't see him. You barely see him making those runs. He's more like what Weghorst was doing last season. It's like just, touch type being link up play, but there's not really much to link up around him with. And I'm not attacking any of the players. I just feel like there's just a little bit of confusion. There's lock-in, build up. Look, somebody in the chat was like, Wayne Rooney was beating up old men at 16 years old. Not everybody is Wayne Rooney. Y'all need to chill out with that. Wayne Rooney he's a special human being. Not everybody can be Wayne Rooney. We can't judge these young players on this like pedestal of like they need to be like Wayne Rooney. There's a difference in that. I think y'all just picking and choosing at this point. And I just feel like overall, Marcel was talking about it before, having somebody like Lisandro Martinez moving down into the DM role. Martinez is the best ball-playing central defender that we have. If we have the ball playing, if we have the quick transition, making those shapes, we'll be able to maybe get the ball to Rasmus better. Who knows? I just feel like right now we don't have the personnel because of the injuries, because of the problems on the pitch, because of the problems off the pitch. All of this crap has resulted in, for example, somebody like Rasmus having to play a difficult role. And I feel bad for him because y'all know how much I've been riding for Rasmus since way back then.
Yeah, fairly put. I think there's a very, very fair. Nothing more you can say to that. I don't think there's anything more to add. Guys, been a great show. Been a great show. Big up to everybody who's tuned in. Big up to all the super chats. Big up to all the comments. Big up to all the members chats as well. We've got 270 likes. To be fair, throughout the video, we should have probably pushed more. There's a few more super chats here. JD Mello says, we got no players. What favorites? And LJ, I said that already. And Red Baron says, Hala Madrid. Yes, we all will be back in Real Madrid tomorrow. And Swifty95 says, Todibo, Kim Min-jae, De Jong, De Ligt, Kane, Timber. Imagine our bench if we got just 3 of these starters. Again, like I know what could have been, what could have been, what could have been. We'll be back tomorrow, morning view, 9 a.m. sharp. We'll see you there. Big up to Marcel, big up to Kenny as per usual, big up to Good Vibes John, big up to Owen, and of course KG, who's not here at the minute. We'll see you tomorrow. Big show. Take care, guys. Peace. Fireworks from Kenny.